An ancient prophecy unfolds, a colossal entity sacrificed for a mysterious ritual. Its raw power unleashed. Cosmic energy crackles around the dying giant. A prelude to untold chaos. A year later, the protagonist jolts awake in a makeshift tent. His body racked with pain and coughing blood. The crude medical tent. A stark contrast to the distant sounds of war. Flashback. A fierce battle rages. The young protagonist fights desperately. Witnessing his commander fall amidst the carnage, the metallic tang of blood mixes with the dust of a doomed battlefield, offered a sinister deal by a monstrous foe. The young warrior defiantly refuses, choosing honor over surrender. The air thick with despair. Yet a flicker of resolve burns in his eyes. Gravely wounded, he's submerged in a recovery tank, his weak form defying the controls. Refusing to be just a vessel. The cold, sterile hum of the tank. A fragile lifeline between life and death. His current body is frail. But the news of the orc's return ignites a furious frustration within him. The distant war cries echo. A cruel reminder of his present powerlessness. A chilling revelation. The orcs seek the fallen Perdium, linking his past trauma to the present devastating threat. A seismic shift in his understanding. Memories resurfacing with terrifying clarity. Gazing upon his past self, a surge of power courses through him, igniting a transformation that promises restored strength. A luminous glow envelops him, bridging the gap between his present weakness and former glory. He stands before a tattered flag, remembering a solemn vow made amidst the ruins of a devastating war a year prior. The wind whispers forgotten names. Carrying the weight of past sacrifices, the orcs erupt from the ground. An overwhelming tide of monstrous fury shattering the fragile peace. The earth trembles, a horrifying prelude to utter chaos. In his returned, stronger form, he roars orders to his dwindling forces, igniting a desperate, defiant stand against the horde. His voice, once weak, now rings with battle-hardened authority amidst the maelstrom. Commander Scuven, gravely wounded, entrusts him with a vital item or a final duty, passing the torch of command, the urgency of a dying breath, a heavy legacy bestowed in the heat of battle. Ghislaine, battered and bruised, stares down the demonic horde, his resolve hardening despite overwhelming odds. Each breath is a struggle against the pain, a silent promise to never yield. With a surge of inner strength, Ghislaine activates his mystical weapon, cleaving through the monstrous ranks. His movements are a desperate dance, each strike fueled by a burning determination to survive. He unleashes a devastating assault, his weapon a blur as it decimates multiple foes in a single, powerful sweep. The battlefield erupts around him, a storm of light and fury unleashed by his desperate power. A seasoned commander watches in awe, recognizing the terrifying potential of the young warrior pushed to his limits. A chilling premonition gnaws at him. Realizing the boy's strength might surpass his wildest dreams, suddenly, a stark realization dawns on the commander. Ghislaine is being subtly manipulated, led directly towards a deadly precipice. A trap is sprung, the cliff edge a silent, waiting maw behind the chaos. Ghislaine collapses under the relentless assault. His body broken and bleeding, the pain an overwhelming wave. His energy wanes, the sheer force of the battle pushing him beyond human limits. Yet, with a primal roar, Ghislaine refuses to fall, gathering his last reserves for a desperate, suicidal charge. His eyes burn with an unyielding flame. Even as his body screams in protest, his strength finally fails. Ghislaine succumbs, tumbling helplessly into the abyss below. Gravity claims him, a symbol of his valiant yet seemingly futile struggle. In the throes of unconsciousness, Ghislaine hears a familiar, heartbreaking voice, seeing a fleeting image of a young girl. A phantom touch, a whisper of a forgotten past, pulls at his very soul. The girl, Elena, appears more clearly, her desperate pleas echoing through the void, urging him to return. Her tears are a beacon, a lifeline to the world he's about to leave behind. Ghislaine jolts awake in a soft bed, disoriented and weak, greeted by the concerned face of Belinda. The abrupt return to reality is jarring, a stark contrast to the ethereal embrace of his vision, reflecting on his past life. Ghislaine recounts the tragic festival and Elena's death, vowing to change his fate this time. His eyes, once filled with regret, now shine with a fierce, unwavering determination to rewrite history. Blood stains Lena's dress as she lies gravely wounded, the protagonist consumed by anguish and a haunting sense of failure. His whispered regrets echo through the quiet tension of the room. He blames himself, haunted by the past, as a red-haired woman watches with cold, calculating eyes, hinting at a deeper conspiracy. The weight of his past failures suffocates him. Everything I touch turns to ashes. A brutal flashback reveals Lena's tragic demise. fueling the protagonist's desperate resolve. He should have been strong enough to protect her. Her dying breath ignites a fierce fire within him, with a new purpose. He throws himself into relentless training, pushing his body to its absolute limits, driven by a vow never to be helpless again. Every punch, every struggle, forged a stronger will. A chilling realization dawns. Lena's death was no accident, but a meticulously orchestrated betrayal by those closest to him. The truth cuts deeper than any blade. Igniting a hunger for retribution, he unveils a perilous plan to transcend mortality, preparing a forbidden manticore with a mysterious entity called Dana, aiming to reverse fate itself. The arcane arts hum with dangerous potential. Harnessing Forbidden's magic, he begins a grotesque transformation, creating an artificial ether within himself. Becoming a horrifying vessel of power, his humanity slowly erodes with each surge of energy. Now a monstrous entity, eyes blazing with fury, he declares his brutal intent to annihilate every single conspirator who wronged him and Lena. The air crackles with his terrifying resolve. A vivid memory returns, exposing the faces of the cunning betrayers, who plotted Lena's fall and reveled in their treacherous victory. Their smug smiles are etched into his vengeance. Lena's own flashback confirms the insidious plot, revealing she sensed the impending doom. As the protagonist activates a complex system to defy her fate, hidden dimension of magic unfolds. The ultimate twist is unveiled. Lena was never truly dead, merely in stasis, protected by a manticore, the protagonist secretly implanted as part of his elaborate long-term plan. The conspirators gasp in shock. Their victory undone. He stands before the stunned conspirators, identifying them as the traitors of our house, with Lena held captive by their side. Setting the stage for a brutal confrontation, the final reckoning begins. Elena confronts her past life's betrayers, her heart cold with revived memories. The chilling realization of their identities fuels her resolve against them. Philip, her killer, shields her from a monstrous assault. A flicker of forgotten heroism in his eyes. The battlefield screams around them. A chaotic reunion of fate. In a twisted plea, Philip demands Elena become his shield, her past trauma resurfacing with brutal force. His request is an echo of her ultimate betrayal. The enigmatic Frank enters, manipulating events from the shadows, his true intentions cloaked in deceit. A puppeteer pulls strings, setting a deadly stage for the protagonists. Frank's treacherous blade impales a loyal guard, shattering any illusion of alliance. The stench of betrayal fills the air, and danger becomes palpable. Frank's sword pierces Philip, a cruel stab from a trusted ally, leaving him bewildered and gravely wounded. The brutal truth of betrayal sinks deep. A harsh lesson learned. Philip collapses amidst the growing chaos, the city falling to siege as Elena watches in horror. Despair looms as hope dwindles under a rain of relentless attacks. As life drains, Philip glimpses his heroic past, sparking a desperate will to fight. His body glowing with nascent power, a forgotten warrior stirs within. Refusing to yield. Philip erupts, eyes blazing with fury, transforming into an unstoppable force, a storm of vengeance. The tide turns with his terrifying awakening, shattering enemy ranks, unleashing raw power. Philip devastates the horde, each blow a thunderclap of retribution, reshaping the battlefield. The ground trembles beneath his might. As enemies fall like puppets, Philip confronts a terrified Frank, his aura radiating lethal intent. Past and present merging in a powerful surge. The hunted becomes the hunter, closing in for the kill. With eyes of cold fire, Philip delivers his chilling ultimatum to a trembling Frank. You shall die here. The final reckoning is upon them, a promise of inevitable doom. The battle ignites. The protagonist faces his old nemesis, whose smug confidence is a stark reminder of past defeats. Chilling premonition of past betrayals lingers in the air. Wounded and pushed to his limits, the hero rises, his eyes burning with renewed resolve amidst the chaos. Each breath is a struggle, but a deeper fury fuels his spirit. No longer holding back, he unleashes his ultimate power, the core, transforming into a being of pure, destructive energy. The ground trembles as his suppressed rage finally breaks free. In a shocking revelation, he recognizes his opponent as the very traitor who brutally murdered him in his past life. The bitter taste of betrayal mixes with the scent of his own blood. With overwhelming force, he corners his enemy, the final devastating blow mere moments away as his power peaks. A terrifying, butterfly-like energy prepares to consume all, overwhelmed by the proximity of his killer. The hero relives his agonizing death, a flood of traumatic memories crushing his spirit. His mind shattered. The pain of dying echoes in his soul. Driven to the brink of madness, he refuses to die again, lunging at his tormentor with a desperate, animalistic bite. Survival instinct takes over. Bloody and primal, consuming his enemy's flesh, the hero undergoes a horrifying yet empowering transformation. Fueled by vengeance, a grotesque feast of retribution unfolds under the moonlit sky. His vengeance culminates in a cataclysmic explosion of purple energy, annihilating his killer and devastating the surrounding landscape. The city square is engulfed in the purifying fires of his rage. The final thump echoes as Desmond's lifeless, charred body hits the ground, the hero's brutal vendetta now complete. Silence falls over the smoldering ruins, a chilling testament to his wrath. Barely clinging to life after his rampage, a mysterious, ethereal entity appears, offering him a new chance at existence. A shimmering figure of fate emerges from the dust, reborn and re-energized. The hero stands amidst the fiery ruins, declaring his unwavering resolve to avenge all who wronged him. His eyes glow with a cold, unyielding promise of future retribution. The past haunts him. A mysterious figure reflects on Ghislaine's failure, a betrayal that echoes through the protagonist's very being. The heavy weight of past mistakes fuels a bitter resolve with an explosive surge. The protagonist's true power awakens, his eyes blazing with otherworldly energy. He vows to reclaim what was stolen, no matter the cost. Now, as the young master trains intensely, his movements are sharp and precise, honing a lethal skill inside Perun Castle. His rapid improvement sparks awe and suspicion among onlookers. He reveals the secret to his incredible progress, a mana-infused ring, amplifying his abilities far beyond normal limits. Each swing, each practice, pushes him closer to his goals. Amidst the bustling festival preparations, the young master seeks a moment of peace. But thoughts of the future and the beautiful Elena Lylde linger in his mind. A deceptive calm before the brewing storm. His internal struggle rages as he contemplates building a military force, when suddenly the castle is under a brutal, unexpected attack. The festive air shatters into chaos. The people demand compensation for the destruction, fueling the young master's seething anger at the familiar monstrous invaders. He vows a merciless retribution, driven by past grievances. The invaders are revealed as the ruthless Crimson Knights from the barbarian kingdom, and the young master recognizes the distinct sword of his arch-nemesis, Ghislaine. A chilling sense of dread descends. Overwhelmed and battered, the young master cries out, feeling utterly broken as Ghislaine mockingly reminds him of his past failure. He's cornered, his vision blurring with pain and despair. Chaos erupts as Ricardo is brutally struck down. And then Kane, another loyal subordinate, faces the same savage assault. The enemy shows no mercy. Spilling blood without hesitation, Kane lies gravely wounded, desperately calling for his master amidst the carnage. As the young master finally reaches him, his heart clenching with grief and fury, a loyal life hangs by a thread. With a look of burning defiance, the young master stands before Ghislaine, ready to confront the architect of his suffering face to face. The stage is set for a brutal showdown. Ghislaine, severely injured and barely alive, is brought before Ricardo, who recognizes his old enemy in this broken state. A grim silence descends as past grievances loom large. Chilling flashback reveals their brutal past rivalry, confirming their status as bitter foes, now reunited under dire circumstances. The memory of their clashes ignites old wounds. Ricardo, orchestrating a cunning game, confesses to manipulating his family and Ghislaine into conflict, leaving Ghislaine chained and helpless. The cold truth of his betrayal leaves Ghislaine utterly trapped. A fragmented memory surfaces for Ghislaine, a shadowy figure, whispering ambitions, slowly twisting him towards a path of self-destruction. The serpent's lies begin to unravel in his mind. The flashback intensifies, showing Ghislaine's fury and his manipulated intent to assassinate Ricardo. A betrayal orchestrated by unseen hands. He was a weapon, pointed by a phantom. The pieces click into place. Ghislaine realizes he was a pawn, learning the true puppeteer behind his downfall is Althea, the mastermind's name. A bitter poison. Overwhelmed by the bitter truth and his lost honor, Ghislaine crumbles into despair. Tormented by Ricardo's question and his own failures, his world collapses, leaving him a shattered shell, haunted by flashes of his former glory and Althea's seductive lies. Ghislaine's internal battle rages, leaving him utterly helpless. The ghosts of his past mock his present vulnerability. Ricardo, seeing Ghislaine's broken spirit, unleashes a brutal punch, demanding he get yourself together and fight for his own truth. A violent awakening, born of desperate care. The strike shatters Ghislaine's despair. He unleashes a raw burst of power, breaking his chains and reigniting a dormant strength. A roar of defiance erupts from his soul. With newfound resolve, Ghislaine accepts Ricardo's challenge to a duel. Understanding this is his only path to redemption and reclaiming his destiny. His honor shattered but not lost. Demands retribution. Ricardo, ever the pragmatist, immediately sets plans in motion to exploit Ghislaine's return. While Ghislaine stands ready, sword in hand, for his public challenge, the stage is set for a grand, dangerous spectacle. Asterisk. The festive air shatters as a prince vanishes, and all fingers point to our protagonist, a man framed, yet strangely calm amidst the chaos. A chilling silence falls as he prepares for the inevitable confrontation. An unjust accusation hanging heavy. A towering figure, Kane of the Royal Guard, steps forward, his challenge ringing with authority. Declaring our hero a traitor to be judged, the glint of his sword promises a swift, brutal end, yet the protagonist's eyes hold a knowing glint. The fight begins. Kane's strength overwhelming as he lands a crushing blow, seemingly subduing the framed hero. The crowd murmurs with judgment as he is led away. A facade of defeat masking a deeper game. Elena, desperate, is held back. But the protagonist offers a silent reassurance. His hidden plan already in motion. He walks willingly into the lion's den. His true intentions shrouded in mystery. Thrust into the arena. Unarmed, a sword is tossed his way, which he catches with effortless grace. Baffling his captors, the crowd shifts, a flicker of doubt replacing their certainty. As his true skill starts to unveil, the true battle erupts. The protagonist a blur of motion, parrying powerful strikes as he begins to showcase his overwhelming prowess. Each swift movement hints at a power far beyond their comprehension, turning the tide of the fight. With a decisive strike, the protagonist cuts through his formidable opponent, sending him sprawling to the ground in a spray of blood. The arena falls silent, the sheer force of his attack leaving no room for doubt about the outcome. Kane lies defeated, but the protagonist shows no mercy, delivering a final, brutal stomp that silences the baying crowd. A chilling display of ruthlessness, reminding everyone who truly holds the power. More guards rush in, but the protagonist remains unfazed, retrieving a mysterious device. His resolve solidifying for the next wave. His eyes, cold and calculating, betray no fear, only a readiness for whatever comes next. He moves like a phantom, swiftly dispatching the encroaching guards with breathtaking speed and precision. None a match for him. The arena becomes a stage for his dominance. A stark demonstration of overwhelming force. Returning to Elena and the children, his fierce demeanor softens, offering a calm reassurance to those he protects. A brief moment of peace. A fragile sanctuary amidst the ongoing chaos he has orchestrated. His gaze turns cold once more, musing on the entertainment and the need to educate the ignorant. A deeper, darker power stirring within him. The true game has just begun, and his patience with barbaric idiots is wearing thin. Protagonist is provoked, challenged to educate me. A cloaked figure watches from afar, hinting at unseen forces manipulating events. His inherent power surges, a primal force barely contained. He strives for a strong sword, pushing his limits in a brutal arena. Falling but then rising with renewed power. His latent abilities awaken, transforming his form into a crimson fury. The cloaked figure attacks, taunting him with past vulnerabilities. Intent on his destruction for pure amusement. Betrayal cuts deeper than any blade, leaving him wounded and bewildered. Overwhelmed by relentless purple energy, he collapses, his body scarred, his mind shattered by the incomprehensible assault. A single, desperate question echoes in the void. Why? A poignant flashback reveals a past bond, a tender moment shared, starkly contrasting the current brutal reality. Memories of camaraderie bleed into the present agony, fueling confusion. The betrayer's resentment is exposed. Dismissed as just friends, he harbors a simmering jealousy. The protagonist's raw power burst on a snowy day. A moment of nascent greatness, unknowingly setting their divergent paths. Back in the present, the betrayer reveals his sinister choice, questioning the protagonist's strength, urging him to rise one last time. His bloodied hand reaches for the discarded sword, a symbol of defiance. The betrayer strikes again, fueled by a long-held hatred, declaring his monstrous intentions as the protagonist falls. "I trusted you," a whisper of a broken heart. As all hope seems lost, the true horrifying motive is unveiled. A dark ritual to consume his meat and bones, to seize the power he never earned. The grim realization of being mere prey, a resource to be exploited. His body is racked with torment as his essence is forcibly drained. An agonizing scream tearing through the air. A final, harrowing understanding dawns. Understood? Against all odds, he awakens, severely scarred but alive, guided by a mysterious woman amidst his fractured memories. A new ally or another enigma? As he struggles to reclaim his past, his birthday becomes a revelation. The woman sees through his facade, revealing his actions are for his unseen father. A jolt of raw emotion. A father he never knew, a new purpose ignited. Bernard, kissing Amelia's foot, hints at their secret alliance and their intention to reveal their claws. A dangerous oath of loyalty lurking in the shadows. Bernard details his strategic plans to take over the Actium Merchants Guild, aiming to purchase all the land and hire talented individuals. His ambition and cunning. Intelligence prepared to reshape the Empire's economic future. When Giselle's messenger bursts in, Amelia's eyes flash red with anger, the first visible sign of her hidden power. A dark energy vibrates beneath her calm demeanor. Prince Giselle confronts Amelia, presenting the Actium Guild as a birthday gift and launching a direct challenge. The beginning of arrogance and reckoning. Tension hangs in the air. Amelia's aura intensifies horribly, her eyes glow red, and she asserts dominance over Giselle with an icy sit. Command. An overwhelming will that shatters the room's atmosphere with every word. Under intense pressure, Giselle bends helplessly as Amelia exposes her schemes and demands. A staggering 1 trillion gold pieces for the guild. The revelation of secret plans shakes Giselle's fate. Amelia transforms into a terrifying, monstrous creature, revealing her true nature and the terrifying extent of her power. The embodiment of a nightmare woven from shadow and horror. Bernard, the Swordmaster believed dead, appears instantly at Amelia's command, demonstrating his unwavering loyalty and terrifying abilities. Translated with deepl.com, free version. An unknown assailant crashes the gathering, mocking the poor hospitality while launching a swift attack on Giselle's retinue. The air crackles with unspoken threats as the true nature of the intrusion is revealed. Bernard steps forward, his loyalty an unbreakable shield, promising Giselle he will not disappoint her in this deadly dance. His dark eyes burn with fierce determination, ready to face the unknown danger. With a sudden burst of blue energy, Bernard unleashes his power, striking with unexpected force that leaves his opponent stunned. The sheer intensity of his mana shocks the assailant, briefly turning the tide of battle. Bernard lands a powerful, repeated blow, momentarily catching his opponent off guard with a familiar technique. The element of surprise is fleeting, yet effective. As the foe reacts with a sharp gasp, the opponent swiftly recovers, dismissing Bernard's tactic as a cheap trick before retaliating with a brutal counterattack. Bernard is slammed back, a pained grunt escaping him as the fight turns against him. The opponent dissects Bernard's fighting style with cold precision, exposing his amateurish use of mana to compensate for skill. Bernard's supposed advantage is unraveled, leaving him vulnerable and outmatched. Declaring the fight over, the opponent reveals his overwhelming superiority, making it clear Bernard has no chance of victory. A chilling finality hangs in the air as Bernard faces inevitable defeat. A torrent of ethereal threads erupts, piercing Bernard from all sides in a devastating mana-infused attack. He is overwhelmed, every defense shattered by the sheer power of the technique. Bernard collapses, severely wounded and bleeding. As Giselle's desperate scream echoes through the bloody room, his loyalty has come at a steep price, leaving Giselle in shock and despair. Another of Giselle's guards, the blonde man, urgently commands her to leave, acknowledging Bernard's failure to guarantee her safety. The weight of impending danger shifts as a new protector steps forward amidst the chaos. The blonde guard vows to fight with everything he has. Accepting the mantle of protection in Bernard's place, his determination is resolute, ready to confront the formidable foe head-on. A dark smile crosses the guard's face. He relishes the challenge, seeing the opponent as a worthy match after a long, uneventful time. The stage is set for a new, equally intense battle, fueled by a renewed thirst for combat. Ghislaine, a formidable figure, faces a furious challenge from an unknown assailant, his resolve hardening into a deadly glare. A past grievance, tied to a merchant guild and whispers of assassination, fuels the tension. A cloaked woman emerges from a massacre, blood on her lips, her chilling composure hinting at dark powers. "It's been a while," she murmurs, a shadow of shared history hanging heavy between them. She silences her startled interlocutor with a dismissive gesture, her sharp eyes noting a past spider on your lips. The unsettling memory of an engagement ceremony, tainted by her unique, unnerving affinity for spiders, resurfaces. With an unsettling calm, she makes a proposition for cooperation. Her control over menacing arachnids evident. Giant. Spectral spiders manifest, weaving a silent, dangerous request for alliance. The true battle begins as Ghislaine and his opponent confront each other, the air crackling with immense magical energy. A palpable dread settles, an invisible weight pressing down on the impending duel. Ghislaine, full of noble pride, scoffs at his mercenary foe, declaring his own aristocratic standing. His haughty dismissal only serves to deepen the unspoken animosity before their clash. The first strike is an explosion of mana as Ghislaine unleashes his full power, driving his opponent back with fierce intent. A symphony of crashing blows and blinding energy engulfs the arena. Ghislaine's final attack engulfs his foe in a devastating blue wave, leaving him seemingly defeated and bleeding. The ground trembles as the powerful strike connects, splattering crimson across the dust dot as Ghislaine stands victorious. A flicker of defiance ignites in his downed opponent's eyes, hinting at a hidden reserve. Just when all seems lost, a single word reverberates, but, despite overwhelming odds, the protagonist reveals his secret weapon, a unique mana cultivation technique. He's been holding back. His resolve crystallizes, eyes glowing with untapped power, ready to turn the tide. With a cataclysmic roar, the third core is unleashed, surging through the protagonist, turning the tide of battle. A tidal wave of magenta mana erupts, blasting Ghislaine back in bewildered defeat. The battle concludes, Ghislaine utterly defeated, as the protagonist calmly demands 10,000 gold for his troubles, his mercenary nature fully revealed. He ups the ante, his price for victory escalating exponentially. Gillianin mana yolu critic dirimda, onu keskin berbakakla, riskliber rituals or liar, haida kalmaz, ar berbedeli olan ola and ustu ber mudahele bagli. Belindan in saglakini riskatarik. Kendi dermik mana yalarini aitslamek ikin onin saf manasina kikior, morgs leri asiale parlior. Ama vukudu yenalinin gukul kasalier. Mana yolu exlurken. Gillian yiksek malitan farkandi. Unkat kararli dehate duklinier. Bur tabutin erpertici jerry dean. Ac mazie, HRS unke reclier. Bikin ema iangik Belinda. Gilliana Harkonnen fahiz serveti sorgulier. Oh. Muazam ber serviden enkak tatman edibili segi darren ber zorin lulu. What isera eatier. Belinda ni war arena ragmen. Gillian telikeli hediflorini akakleer. Meher Canavar Ormani. Xleri. Kar Lilikla Karisik ber Korku Peraltsk Tessior. Belinda Ormanin Telecalarini Yinalier. Gillian Eyes Yazli Fergusa Ghislaine Sorire. Yaslanin Casvali Ifidesi. Hediflarinin Vahim Durumuna Isret Edier. Gillian. Adamlarani Bolmak Iken Eiler Lurkenber Saldara Kaptania Duelin Critic Idiakalan Edier. Grivakik. Riskler Belinmayin Adalin her Agla Artior. Yokaliklari. Bekelin tm itakamden uzik harap olmik. Ishber kanuda sona irier. Yain de Gillian, dogru yere geldeklarenden emin. Dagenik. Sakali yazliber adam golgellerden belirip. Harab meskanine izinses jerilarini sorgulier. Belinda of Edier a Magillian in ank sor salmior. Belinda. Bu, hasta adaman efsenivi Captain Lark olabalesigi di incessini ace kk kakumsier. Gillian and back Carol. Bu krk figuring gerkekten sektiklari kigi oldukunu dorgralier. Ani berverluk patlamesila Gillian. Erratiklari Captain Gillian alarik gerkik kimlagini akakleer. Yazli adaman dunyas durayur. Gzleri voskan likla klilier. Yazli adaman yuzunu darren ber daigu dalgoski kaplier. Jekmidi kimdiki zamanla karpasier. Gillian alini uzadior. Ikten ber itirov yankalanier. Seni gerkekten sladim. The formidable Ratatoskar mercenary squad, known for their bravery, stands united under their legendary leader. Gillian, he's a name whispered in awe, a force unmatched, but now faces an unseen battle. A mysterious young master confronts Gillian, holding the key to his daughter's suffering, the incurable eternal punishment. He offers a cure, but at an unknown cost, seizing the desperate father's only hope. Rachel, Gillian's beloved daughter, writhes in agony, her body consumed by the crimson blight of eternal punishment. Her pained cries echo, a haunting melody of despair that Gillian cannot bear. As Rachel pleads for death to end her torment, the young master's calm voice cuts through the despair, offering a sliver of hope. It's not too late yet, he declares, a chilling promise amidst the growing tragedy. Gillian's aide, wary yet desperate, watches as the young master assures her of his ability to heal Rachel. He demands trust. A risky gamble with a life hanging in the balance, with arcane ingredients and focused intent, the young master meticulously crafts the potent fairy blessing. Each stirring of the luminous purple concoction pulses with a fragile promise of life. Gillian, with trembling hands, administers the mystical fairy blessing to his ailing daughter. The glowing liquid descends, a desperate father's last prayer whispered into the fading light. Miraculously, Rachel's ghastly spots begin to fade, disbelief and raw hope washing over Gillian's face. The young master's chilling promise is unfolding, a breath of life returning to his daughter. The young master confirms the cure isn't temporary. It's a fundamental healing that promises full recovery in months. Gillian grasps the reality. Overwhelmed with a joy he thought he'd never feel again, Gillian pledges his life. ready to become a slave for his daughter's salvation. But the young master reveals his true demand. He wants Jillian, the revered leader of the Ratatoskar mercenary squad, not a mere servant. Without hesitation, Jillian turns on his former comrades, unleashing his fury in a swift, decisive strike. His loyalty has shifted. A new power dynamic, forged in blood under the young master's gaze. Jillian formally pledges his life and loyalty to the young master, solidifying their new formidable alliance. The young master, now in command, reveals his expansive plans, with Jillian at their very core. The hooded figures finalize their dark designs, plotting the complete annihilation of their target. A sinister smile confirms a treacherous mastermind at play, sealing a grim fate. Caught in the brutal ambush, the protagonist struggles desperately. Overwhelmed and nearly crushed, a fleeting flashback of a red-haired figure hints at a tragic past, fueling quiet despair. The cunning antagonist reveals their true target, the Wildcat. Mentioning the immense cost of this brutal hunt, a calculated game of vengeance is openly declared, with no mercy in sight. Massive, menacing mechanical beasts deploy, forming an inescapable, menacing mechanical beasts deploy, forming an inescapable, intricate trap around the protagonist. The overwhelming scale of the ambush becomes terrifyingly clear, ensuring no escape. Mid-battle, the Wildcat painfully realizes the depth of the deception, shouting a trap. As more foes appear, the ambush is not mere chance, but a meticulously planned act of betrayal. The hooded leader unveils his true face, introducing himself as Captain Grillion. Driven by a deep-seated vendetta, his grim determination is fueled by the loss of a daughter, demanding ultimate retribution. Rejecting all help, the Wildcat ignites a surge of raw, mystical power transforming their very being. A defiant stand against overwhelming odds begins. Fueled by newfound strength. With newfound fury, the transformed Wildcat unleashes a devastating counterattack. Shattering multiple mechanical beasts, the tide of battle dramatically shifts, marked by brutal, unyielding force. Strategically targeting the enemy's core, Wildcat obliterates the massive mechanical horse in a blinding burst of energy. A key asset of the ambush crumbles, leaving the enemy exposed and vulnerable. Wildcat's assault intensifies, tearing through the remaining forces with relentless, mocking blows. Dominance in battle is asserted through a terrifying display of raw power and unchecked rage. Closing in on Grillion, Wildcat delivers a chilling promise of finality. Their eyes burning with cold vengeance, the ultimate confrontation is set. A deadly duel between two sworn enemies. A blinding, overwhelming attack erupts from Wildcat, consuming Captain Grillion in its destructive force, the ruthless end to a saga of vengeance, leaving only silence in its wake. The protagonist faces his ultimate challenge, battling a towering, armored foe with brutal efficiency and desperate strength. Each strike echoes a history of struggle and a burning desire for victory, unleashing a torrent of raw power. The protagonist's attacks slice through the darkness, pushing the mighty Gillian to his limits. The air crackles with volatile energy, reflecting a relentless resolve. The relentless clash intensifies, the protagonist's resilience tested against an unyielding opponent who refuses to fall. A desperate struggle for dominance defines every bone-shattering impact. Driven by a surge of vengeful fury, the protagonist channels an explosive power ready to deliver a definitive, crushing blow. The glowing aura of vengeance illuminates his grim determination. As the formidable Gillian collapses, gravely wounded, a shocking truth begins to unravel from his dying breath. The dust of battle settles on a revelation, changing everything. Gillian, on the brink of death, recalls his past, revealing a deep-seated connection to the protagonist's family and a heartbreaking debt. Faded memory of kindness shapes his tragic end. The final, decisive blow lands, Gillian accepting his fate as the protagonist achieves a hard-won, yet bitter victory. A silent acknowledgement passes between victor and vanquished. A grim balance achieved. With Gillian defeated, the battered protagonist registers the dying words of his foe, a name, a unit, unlocking a new layer of mystery. A cryptic message hints at a larger conspiracy. Beyond the battlefield, waking injured amidst his loyal companions, the protagonist grapples with the recent battle's heavy cost. Remembering a fallen comrade, the weight of past sacrifices presses heavily on his heart. Preparing for the next stage of his journey, the protagonist finds solace in the familiar embrace of his home territory. A moment of calm before the storm. Cherishing what remains. With a burning resolve, the protagonist declares his unwavering commitment to purge all threats and resurrect his family's lost glory. His eyes hold the fierce flame of a sworn oath, ready to face any adversary. A sudden striking silhouette emerges from the shadows, sending a jolt of profound recognition through the protagonist. A ghost from the past, standing tall amidst the ruins of memory. Waldron Perdium is consumed by madness, and the main captain, Astaroth, confirms Perdium is lost to monsters. The son faces his own mad father. A tragic reunion that defines his desperate mission, the weight of a shattered family crest presses down on his shoulders. Accused of causing his father's insanity and Perdium's ruin, the son battles widespread disbelief, haunted by the destruction he witnessed. His past choices, born of necessity, now fuel a lonely struggle for vindication. Echoes of devastation linger in the castle's desolate halls. He recounts fighting his own father to save Perdium, wielding a mysterious glowing object against an overwhelming evil. Despite his sacrifices, the son yearns for understanding. Attempting to bridge the chasm with his deranged father, a desperate plea hangs heavy in the air. Unanswered. A horrifying flashback reveals the true source of his father's madness, a monstrous entity that forced the son to wield the blade of Perdium. Now, the broken blade is a symbol of his deep regret and past mistakes. The memory of a desperate battle scars his mind. The monster's power, which twisted his father, becomes the son's ultimate target. As his father undergoes a final terrifying transformation, a massive, mana-infused crystal landscape is revealed. A dangerous new objective. A chilling aura of corrupted power permeates the air. Claiming the mana-rich crystal ore as the mad Emperor's son, he strategically forms alliances and plans to secure this vital resource. This audacious move sets the stage for a grand struggle against empires. The glint of ambition reflects in the crystalline veins. The present erupts in chaos as the Cerberus mercenaries confront a colossal monster attack, an overwhelming force witnessed by the observing sun. The sheer scale of the threat is enough to make even hardened fighters waver. A roar tears through the sky, shaking the very earth. Amidst the mercenaries' greedy anticipation, the monster unleashes pure destruction, tearing through ranks. Then, a white-haired warrior, the mercenary captain, charges into the fray with a furious battle cry, challenging the beast. The smell of fear mixes with the metallic tang of battle. The white-haired captain unleashes devastating attacks, fueled by a fierce resolve forged from past struggles. Despite the immense danger, he declares his transformation, riding towards certain peril to protect his comrades, a testament to his renewed strength, illuminates the chaotic field. Suddenly, a regal figure on horseback, radiating authority, cuts through the battlefield's pandemonium. He demands the captain's presence, signaling a powerful intervention that will irrevocably alter the course of this brutal conflict. A new player steps onto the bloody stage, commanding attention. The Mad Emperor's son returns to a fractured legacy, finding Perdium Castle under an insidious curse. He urgently rallies forces, a chilling secret about his father's madness threatening to consume his every move. A sense of impending doom hangs over the ancient stones. His father, Count Waldron Perdium, is consumed by madness, and the main captain, Astaroth, confirms Perdium is lost to monsters. The son faces his own mad father, a tragic reunion that defines his desperate mission. The weight of a shattered family crest presses down on his shoulders. Accused of causing his father's insanity and Perdium's ruin, the son battles widespread disbelief, haunted by the destruction he witnessed. His past choices, born of necessity, now fuel a lonely struggle for vindication. Echoes of devastation linger in the castle's desolate halls. He recounts fighting his own father to save Perdium, wielding a mysterious glowing object against an overwhelming evil. Despite his sacrifices, the son yearns for understanding. Attempting to bridge the chasm with his deranged father, a desperate plea hangs heavy in the air. Unanswered. A horrifying flashback reveals the true source of his father's madness, a monstrous entity that forced the son to wield the blade of Perdium. Now, the broken blade is a symbol of his deep regret and past mistakes. The memory of a desperate battle scars his mind. The monster's power, which twisted his father, becomes the son's ultimate target. As his father undergoes a final, terrifying transformation, a massive, mana-infused crystal landscape is revealed. A dangerous new objective. A chilling aura of corrupted power permeates the air. Claiming the mana-rich crystal ore as the Mad Emperor's son, he strategically forms alliances and plans to secure this vital resource. This audacious move sets the stage for a grand struggle against empires. The glint of ambition reflects in the crystalline veins. The present erupts in chaos as the Cerberus mercenaries confront a colossal monster attack, an overwhelming force witnessed by the observing sun. The sheer scale of the threat is enough to make even hardened fighters waver. A roar tears through the sky, shaking the very earth. Amidst the mercenaries' greedy anticipation, the monster unleashes pure destruction, tearing through ranks. Then, a white-haired warrior, the mercenary captain, charges into the fray with a furious battle cry. Challenging the beast. The smell of fear mixes with the metallic tang of battle. The white-haired captain unleashes devastating attacks, fueled by a fierce resolve forged from past struggles. Despite the immense danger, he declares his transformation, riding towards certain peril to protect his comrades. A testament to his renewed strength illuminates the chaotic field. Suddenly, a regal figure on horseback, radiating authority, cuts through the battlefield's pandemonium. He demands the captain's presence, signaling a powerful intervention that will irrevocably alter the course of this brutal conflict. A new player steps onto the bloody stage, commanding attention. The Grand Duke subjects the captain to brutal training, demanding mastery of basic defense despite countless blows. Each strike hardens the captain's resolve, forging him into a weapon. Within the circle of Moriana's recognition, the Grand Duke begins the duel, mocking the captain's past achievements. The surrounding soldiers watch, a hungry crowd eager for blood. The Grand Duke attacks with blinding speed, each strike a calculated blow aiming for weak points. The captain parries and blocks, his body a blur of defensive movements. A powerful blow from the Grand Duke sends shockwaves through the captain. Yet he miraculously evades what should be a knockout. His instincts scream, defying the impossible despite the captain's efforts. The Grand Duke's relentless assault begins to take its toll, blood splattering with each impact. Pain is a constant companion now, a rhythm of survival. The Grand Duke reveals his strategy, explaining how force stiffens muscles, making an opponent lose control. He recalls a past fight where he exploited similar disadvantages. Showing his cunning, he taunts the captain, claiming to read his thoughts and predict every move. Enjoying the struggle, a chilling glint in his eyes reveals his malicious delight. The Grand Duke acknowledges the captain's determination but reminds him of the brutal rules of Moriana's recognition. His true, menacing form emerges, ready to enforce his victory conditions. With a final surge, the Grand Duke declares the fight over, aiming for a decisive, incapacitating blow. The air crackles with lethal intent. He then explains the ultimate rule. 1 foot outside the circle means defeat, and lands a strike meant to push the captain beyond the boundary. The Grand Duke, confident, declares his win. The captain appears to fall outside the designated circle, prompting gasps from the onlookers and the Grand Duke's cold declaration of victory. His defeat seems undeniable. The match decided, but the captain defies expectations, revealing he never stepped out, shocking the Grand Duke to his core. His resolve unbroken. He hints at a hidden strength, ready to turn the tables. The chilling resolve of Giselle takes hold as he initiates a brutal assault. His target a helpless, tied noble facing an agonizing end. Blood splatters, a stark prelude to the merciless path Giselle is forging. The noble lies defeated, broken, as Giselle's cold gaze suggests an unending torment. His question chilling the air with the threat of prolonged pain. A macabre dance of power and cruelty unfolds, leaving no room for mercy. Giselle's past flickers, revealing a deep contempt for the corrupt nobility and the dark, transformative power he now wields. His transformation is born from a world where honor is bought and sold, and power is the only currency. Before a nervous mercenary camp, Giselle asserts his terrifying dominance by presenting a grim trophy, demanding instant obedience. Fear hangs heavy in the air, a silent testament to his brutal authority. Giselle forces the trembling mercenaries to sign a pact, their faces etched with fear and resignation as he binds them to his will, each signature a blood bond, sealing their fates under his command. The red-haired fighter, once defeated, is offered a new path as Giselle shares a meal, forging a bond that promises loyalty and a shared future. A strange alliance is born over shared bread, hinting at new beginnings. Days later, Giselle surveys his growing mercenary force, a strategic mind at work preparing them for an undisclosed, ambitious endeavor. The tranquil outskirts of Perdium Estate belie the brewing storm. A new, formidable presence emerges in Gordon, a confident, muscular mercenary, ready to prove his worth and leadership. His brawn and overconfidence fill the mercenary camp with a new energy. Gordon, oblivious to the true power approaching, confidently volunteers to meet the challenge head-on, eager to showcase his strength, his bravado a stark contrast to the quiet, calculating force drawing near. Giselle makes a striking entrance, a lone, formidable figure on horseback, casting a long shadow over the assembled mercenaries. His arrival is a silent declaration of power, chilling the excited murmurs of the camp. The confrontation begins as Giselle directly addresses Gordon, his words carrying a weight of knowing authority. Identifying the muscle-bound mercenary, silent power struggle ignites between the two strong wills. With chilling authority, Giselle reveals his true identity as the Grand Duke Perdium, declaring his grand ambition, the conquest of the untamed forest of beasts. The air crackles with the revelation, a new era dawning for the mercenaries. All preparations were complete. A bold team of explorers was ready to conquer the monster forest. Their ultimate goal lay deep within. A priceless source of energy. The young master roused the troops by stressing the dangers of the mission and the promised triple pay. They were determined to face the unknown threats of the monster forest. Their target, a mysterious monster core brimming with immense power. With this motivation under the command of a towering leader, they marched into the heart of the forest, fearlessly plunging into the woods. The young master cut down monsters with his blade while revealing his true aim, the runestone. Vain. Every falling creature became another step toward their ultimate goal. Belinda questioned the young master's ruthless pressure on the hired soldiers. While Gordon began to struggle, the master's indifferent reply showed just how deadly the mission was for ordinary men. As Gordon, now isolated, called for the young master's help, a monster emerged from the forest's depths. The master's mocking attitude made it clear he intended to leave Gordon to his fate. Suddenly, the forest overflowed with a sinister energy, and everyone sensed the approach of an unknown threat. The young master coldly pondered the supply opportunities behind this unexpected change. A dark, shadowy beast appeared and slaughtered Gordon without mercy, shocking the team. This sudden, brutal attack was a preview of the true horror the forest concealed. The team watched in terror as Gordon died, and the young master remained unnervingly calm. The monster forest's dreadful nature and the master's secret knowledge weighed heavily upon them. The young master warned that staying meant death, hinting at an even deeper threat lurking within. It was clear he knew a dark secret, one that might prove fatal. Then, wrapped in a terrifying aura of dark energy, the young master transformed into a monstrous, shadowed figure. No one had expected such a swift and merciless change. Armored and formidable, he became a mighty warrior and roared, "Dirus Ent." It was the shocking climax of his true power and identity. A monstrous infestation erupts from the earth. Tentacled horrors tearing through the landscape, sowing panic and despair. Screams echo as the dark-eyed creatures begin their relentless assault on the unprepared villagers. Amidst the chaos, alone, warrior with a glowing blue blade strikes, cleaving through the monstrous vines with brutal efficiency. His movements are swift, a beacon of hope against the overwhelming darkness. The hero confronts the core monster, its red eye pulsating, realizing its unnerving resilience as he rallies his faltering allies. The weight of command settles heavily on his shoulders, the battle far from over. A desperate strategy emerges. The hero calls for oil lamps, plotting to use fire against the dark. Encroaching terror. Their only hope lies in burning away the shadows that threaten to engulf them all. Flames erupt as the oil lamps are thrown, engulfing parts of the monstrous horde, but the victory is fleeting. The hero's grim face reveals the painful truth. These creatures are not easily stopped. The hero continues his relentless assault, battling regenerating monsters that seem to multiply with every fallen foe. The sheer endlessness of the enemy tests his resolve, threatening to drown them in despair. Another volley of glowing projectiles is unleashed, a desperate, coordinated attack aimed at the monster's pulsating core. The battlefield glows with fiery explosions, a fierce dance between light and shadow. The monstrous horde screams as they are consumed by a renewed inferno, the hero's unwavering determination burning brighter than the flames. He pushes his forces, demanding every ounce of their remaining strength. Just as hope flickers, the central monster undergoes a horrifying transformation, shedding its shell to become a giant, steaming beast. The stakes are instantly raised, a new, unforeseen horror now towering over them. The hero quickly discerns the monster's new vulnerability, a soft inner shell. But the pervasive steam obscures their vision. A new foggy battleground emerges, hiding dangers within its milky depths. Amidst the blinding steam, the hero's voice rings out, a rallying cry for his beleaguered troops to seize their weapons. His glowing sword cuts through the mist, a beacon guiding them through the chaos. With a fierce roar, the hero declares the new phase of battle. Close combat, a direct, brutal confrontation against the evolved threat. He charges forward, sword ready, leading his desperate forces into the heart of the storm. The battlefield erupts as soldiers are called to arms, their weapons gleaming under an ominous sky, preparing for an inevitable clash. A surge of dark energy envelops them. This is no ordinary fight, but a descent into chaos. Amidst the swirling chaos, Ghislaine issues a pivotal command, his authority absolute, cutting through the initial shock and doubt of his men. The whispers of fear quickly turn to resolute obedience. A dangerous trust forged in fire. Ghislaine unleashes a devastating strike, tearing through the monstrous horde. His singular power a beacon against overwhelming odds. He embodies the brutal truth. Hesitation means certain death in this unforgiving domain. The weary group stumbles into the beast forest. Its ancient trees and eerie silence hinting at unseen predators, lurking in the shadows. The very air hums with a primeval threat. Far more ancient than their current foes. The relentless combat continues. Blades clashing, bodies falling as the sheer brutality of their mission takes its toll. Evidenced by fresh wounds. Every gasp of breath is a battle. Every step forward a testament to grim endurance. In the aftermath amidst the fallen. The horrific truth of their enemy is revealed. Shape-shifting monsters that mimic their prey, the ground is littered with grotesque forms. A chilling testament to the enemy's deceptive nature. Exhaustion grips them as they discover a pristine lake, offering a momentary reprieve. A precious sip of clean water in a world of dust and blood. This small comfort is a stark reminder of their fragile humanity amidst overwhelming peril. Around a flickering campfire, a heated discussion ignites about their employer and the heavy sacrifices demanded of them, raising questions of loyalty and value. The weight of their mission and the cost of survival hangs heavy in the night air. The tension escalates as grievances are aired, and the true cost of their continued pursuit of the employer's goal is openly questioned. A silent rebellion brewing. The collective despair and anger threaten to unravel their fragile unity. Ghislaine moves among his men, personally distributing vital medicine, a quiet act of leadership that contrasts sharply with the bitter debate about their worth. His pragmatic care offers a fleeting sense of security amidst the existential doubts. Orders are given for the night watch, but a peculiar calm descends, an unnatural stillness that Ghislaine recognizes as a prelude to something far more sinister. The absence of attacks for 2 nights is not a blessing, but a terrifying omen. Ghislaine's grim realization dawns. They've entered territory where the true threat emerges under the cloak of night, making the past calm a chilling deception. From this point forward, the darkness itself becomes their most dangerous adversary. A figure stirs amidst fallen comrades, gradually realizing something is terribly wrong. A silent nightmare unfolding around him, the metallic scent of betrayal clings to the mist, hinting at unseen horrors. A monstrous shadow lunges from the darkness, triggering screams of terror as panic grips the camp. The sudden, brutal assault leaves no time for defense. Only raw fear. The veteran leader surveys the carnage, confirming a monster's presence. Its unseen attacks devastating their ranks. The grim reality of their peril settles over the stunned survivors. He reveals their foe, the Shadow Hunter. Creatures of pure darkness, invisible and thriving in the lightless void. Hundreds of these horrors lurk, their true numbers concealed by night. A fierce debate erupts, but the leader decides against a reckless charge, instead planning a tactical counterattack. Belinda, the mage, begins preparing vital magic scrolls in anticipation. The leader details the enemy's weakness to light, outlining a plan to seize the initiative through coordinated units. Sturdy shield wall is their first line of defense. The strategy unfolds. A crosser unit to exploit openings and an elite assault unit, led by him, to strike the killing blow. Ancient symbols are meticulously inscribed onto powerful scrolls. Ready for activation. He reveals his trump card, Ancient Magic Scrolls. Channeling light to pierce the encroaching darkness. Whoever controls the light controls the darkness, he declares, preparing for the inevitable. A chilling tremor signals the enemy's return, as magic circles erupt from the ground, signaling the trap is sprung. Now's the time, he shouts, activating the first circle magic scroll. Blinding light rips through the shadows, revealing the grotesque, insectoid true forms of the darkness creatures. The illusion shatters, exposing countless hidden horrors that had lurked among them. With a roar, he commands his forces to stem the overwhelming charge of the revealed monsters. His blade glows, leading the assault unit directly into the heart of the enemy. The elite unit stands united, their faces set with grim resolve, ready to face the horde in a desperate, final stand. Their combined strength is their last hope against the encroaching night. The young master, leading his elite forces, charges headfirst into a brutal ambush, his blade glowing with resolve. Blood splatters across the desolate battlefield as the battle for survival begins anew. Amidst the chaos, a clear strategy emerges. Target the darkness-blending foes. Exploit their weak physicality. Each strike is calculated, every maneuver designed to dismantle the enemy's overwhelming numbers. The elite force unleashes a devastating assault, tearing through the enemy ranks with powerful, coordinated attacks. Waves of shimmering energy crash upon the desperate foes, turning the tide with sheer power. With newfound resolve, the squad presses their advantage, pushing back the monstrous horde as camaraderie shines through the carnage. Brief moment of shared triumph cuts through the grim reality of the fight. The tide turns as the enemy begins to flee, but the young master swiftly deduces their retreat path. formulating a daring counter-strategy. His sharp mind sees patterns in the chaos, anticipating the enemy's next desperate move. Belinda, empowered by the young master's command, transforms. Ready to dismantle the enemy's command structure with overwhelming force, her glowing form cuts, a striking silhouette against the war-torn landscape. A beacon of imminent destruction. The young master unleashes a final, devastating blow upon the enemy's front lines, his power erupting in a brilliant, bloody explosion. The air crackles with released energy, signaling the end of the direct confrontation. With a triumphant roar, the young master delivers the ultimate finishing strike, annihilating the enemy leader in a blinding flash of light. The ground trembles as the last vestiges of resistance are utterly crushed. Cheers erupt as victory is declared. The exhausted but triumphant mercenaries celebrating their hard-won survival. Relief washes over the battlefield, a stark contrast to the terror that reigned moments before. The young master surveys the scene, declaring the mission a success with no casualties reported for his main forces. A sense of accomplishment hangs heavy. Yet an underlying tension remains in the silence. But joy turns to suspicion as 3 mercenaries are discovered missing, leading to the chilling realization of betrayal. The hunt for the traitors begins, a dark stain on their hard-earned victory. The fleeing traitors are suddenly met by a horrific red-eyed beast, a new, unforeseen terror emerging from the shadows. The hunters become the hunted as a primal fear grips their hearts. The massive crystal-clad monster looms as our protagonist and his well-trained mercenaries prepare for an unknown challenge. This desolate land hides secrets far grander than they anticipate. The young master observes his disciplined forces, a rare sight in these chaotic lands. Knowing their strength is key to his ambitious plans, their unwavering loyalty is a testament to his leadership. Their journey culminates in the discovery of a legendary top-grade runestone vein, a shimmering beacon of power that leaves his subordinates awestruck. This prize holds the key to unimaginable power, but at what cost? Ignoring pleas for caution, the young master unleashes a devastating mana burst directly into the vein. Shattering expectations and revealing his audacious plan, the ground shudders, signaling an irreversible choice. From the depths, a monstrous tide of creatures erupts, including horrifying human-like abominations, all unleashed by his attack. The young master commands retreat as he prepares to face the overwhelming horde alone. The true horror is unveiled. A colossal, crimson beast with glowing eyes, the legendary owner of the runestone vein, stirs beneath the ice. The fight just became infinitely more dangerous. The blood python strikes with terrifying speed and power, forcing the young master into a brutal, acrobatic defense against its overwhelming might. Every deflected blow sends shockwaves through the cavern. The beast's venomous breath engulfs him, searing his flesh and racking his body with excruciating pain, quickly dissolving his skin despite a desperate mana potion. He screams in agony as his life hangs by a thread. Relentless, the blood python repeatedly slams the young master, his body a broken mess against the ground. As his terrified subordinates can only watch in horror, their hopes dwindle with each brutal impact. Utterly consumed by the poison's torment, the young master collapses, his mind screaming for help as the world dissolves into agonizing pain. The realization dawns. This monster is truly unstoppable. Recognizing the impossible blood python, he faces the brink of despair, knowing all his efforts could be for naught. But a flicker of defiance ignites within. Surrender is not an option when so much is at stake. With unwavering resolve, his eyes burn with fierce determination, a powerful aura igniting around him. He carries the weight of many burdens, and he will not fall here. Blood-soaked, Archduke Ghislaine fights a monstrous serpent in the treacherous forest. His command resolute, they will return together. His resolve shines amidst the brutal clash. A shield for his weary companions, the massive beast proves unyielding, its crimson scales deflecting attacks as Ghislaine battles, already heavily wounded. A desperate whisper of doubt enters his mind. It doesn't show any signs of dying. He carries a heavy burden, privy to a catastrophic future he desperately seeks to prevent. A past of loss haunting his vision. I am the one who knows the suffering, he thinks. Remembering countless fallen, with mana draining, Ghislaine makes a heart-wrenching decision, ordering his loyal subordinates to retreat. Ready to sacrifice himself, his voice cracks with urgency. I can't afford to lose you all here. But his knights refuse, their unwavering loyalty a potent force, choosing to stand by their archduke in the face of certain death. Please believe in us too, they cry. Charging forward. Amidst the chaos, Ghislaine spots a crucial opening, a wound previously inflicted. Now a glaring weakness on the monstrous serpent. The tide of battle shifts. a spark of hope igniting in his weary eyes, unleashing a final devastating attack. Ghislaine plunges his sword into the beast's vulnerability. Its crimson form exploding into gore and shadow, the forest falls silent. Stained with the cost of victory, battered and exhausted, he stands victorious, his declaration echoing through the silent battlefield. A promise of a future he will protect. I am the future of Perdium. Far away at Perdium Castle, a dark political conspiracy unfolds. With a lord imprisoned on false pretenses, his fate hanging by a thread. Ignoring the lord's order, the traitor's scheme. Unaware of the impending storm. The conspirators gloat over their captured target, Skoyan, confident in their scheme, unaware their carefully constructed facade is about to crumble. He has been kept at ready for 15 days. Suddenly, urgent news shatters the castle's tense calm. Randolph bursts in, proclaiming the Archduke's unexpected return. Shock ripples through the conniving nobles. Their plans now in jeopardy, wounded but unbroken. Archduke Ghislaine emerges from the battlefield, his gaze fixed on Perdium Castle, ready to reclaim his destiny and confront the shadows within. His return signals a new era, a reckoning for those who plotted in his absence. Head bowed, eyes filled with despair. After a long absence, the young lord returns to the manor only to find himself in the midst of a great crisis. Dreadful theft destined to decide the fate of the estate ignites the Archduke's fury. Though the entire fortune belongs to the Archduke, the theft of a massive sum of gold brings accusations down upon the young lord's family. Under the Archduke's cold gaze, the young lord must account for 20,000 gold coins. He confesses he spent the money to keep the estate alive. Now forced to face the consequences of his risky choice, in a desperate defense. The young lord presents the rune stones and the innovation he has built with them. Glowing with blue energy and reviving barren lands, the stones are proof of his desperation. Villagers, empowered by rune stones and flourishing fields, are the first fruits of his vision. The abyss of despair begins to give way to the signs of a harsh transformation, but the Archduke remains unconvinced. He assigns the young lord a new and dangerous task. Finding new hunting grounds, a mission that will drag him into the unknown, a challenge that will define his destiny. Accepting the task, the young lord swiftly begins to gather a loyal army. For the perilous lands ahead, unusual soldiers and unexpected allies rally to his side. Under the Archduke's watchful eye, Randolph assembles the special unit and sets out. This elite force, united with the young lord's wit and determination, boldly takes on the desperate mission. Carrying the legacy of the lone northern Volf, the young lord confronts his past. As he marches into war-scarred and desolate lands, the weight of loneliness presses heavier upon him. To Belinda's skeptical question, the young lord answers with unshakable resolve. Not yet, but we will be stronger. His focus remains fixed on the future. Belinda's words of confidence steel the young lord's resolve. With an oath to reach a power no one can defy, he prepares to fight with all his might. And at last, the moment arrives. With his transformed army, he triumphs over the monsters. Shouts erupt, "Archduke!" The young lord finally earns the recognition he deserves, and hope blooms anew. In a past life, he dreamt of becoming a territorial lord. His ambition overshadowed by a looming disaster. The whispers of betrayal echoed through his fading memories. He recalls his past self, betrayed and defeated by the ruthless Duchy of Perdium and their enigmatic ruler. Chilling reminder of a failure he vows not to repeat. The Duke of Perdium, a formidable foe, prepares for war, his eyes fixed on a strategic target. His malevolent gaze sweeps over his forces, contemplating the fate of Giselle. Meanwhile, a captive Giselle laments her fate. Feeling abandoned and used by those she trusted, the heavy chains of despair cling to her fragile hope. The Duke's advisor reveals a crucial weakness in their enemies. Supply of sunstones, the Tower of Advancement. A vital chink in the armor. Ripe for exploitation. An ambush is planned to intercept Giselle and disrupt the sunstone trade at the tower. Setting a daring trap, the path to victory shrouded in shadows and impending conflict. Deep within his memories, the protagonist relives a fierce battle. Channeling immense power against a monstrous entity, his determination burns bright. Amidst the chaos of combat, he undergoes a profound transformation. Absorbing raw power and declaring a grim resolve not to fall again. His eyes ignite with a potent, ancient energy, waking abruptly. The protagonist is racked with pain as past life memories and immense power flood his being. A dangerous awakening. Forging new strength from old wounds, his sister Belinda rouses him, calling him brother while he, disoriented, mistakenly calls her Elena. A tender, yet confusing reunion in his reborn reality. Now fully conscious, the protagonist harnesses his rapidly evolving power. A process both agonizing and exhilarating. He marvels at this unexpected path to immense strength. His father enters, relieved to find him well. asking directly about Giselle's condition. Confirming the protagonist's identity, a weighty conversation looms as his father requests an audience. The protagonist, under his father's stern eye, begins his arduous training to master the blade, a legacy of duty already settling upon his young shoulders. Harsh Castle grounds witness the forging of his resolve. His father speaks of a dire prophecy, a looming darkness and a forest of beasts demanding sacrifice. The weight of an uncertain future clouding the protagonist's young gaze. A heavy burden is placed upon his destiny. Each clash of swords during his intense training etches a vital lesson. True strength lies in a blade both fierce enough to strike down evil and gentle enough to protect the innocent. Sparks fly, forging balance into his very being. With a final, knowing look, his father entrusts him with a grave responsibility and a crucial, unrevealed request, a silent agreement sealing his painful destiny. The echoes of expectation fill the training hall. Emerging from the forest of beasts and madness, the protagonist stands bloodied but victorious, surrounded by fallen monsters, his task completed. His weary comrades greet him with a mix of relief and concern for his exhaustion. The brief respite shatters as he reveals the grim truth. The estate is in danger right now, signaling a new, immediate threat far beyond their current battlefield. An unseen enemy is closing in rapidly. The full extent of the conspiracy unfolds, detailing a treacherous plot involving the Crimson Prince, an attack on Elena, and a valuable runestone vein fueling a war. Betrayal runs deep, even among Elena's own knights. Facing an impossible war, the protagonist rallies his loyal, albeit small group, acknowledging the tough battle ahead, his resolve hardening. He sheds his old attire, ready for the fight. With newfound determination, he embraces his heritage, a painful scar etched into his chest, signifying his past and his readiness to lead the fallen Red Flame. The spirit of his ancestors ignites within him. He defiantly declares, "I won't let things go your way," and assumes his rightful title as the head of Red Flame, ready to reclaim what was lost. A burning conviction radiates from his determined eyes to fund their desperate war. He makes a controversial decision to sell their precious resources, causing inevitable friction, but prioritizing survival. Pragmatism dictates his ruthless, necessary choice. In the solemn halls of the Tower of Red Flame, he seeks counsel from teacher Leonardo, whose melancholic gaze wonders, when will it finally arrive? A shared hope for a brighter future hangs in the air. A fierce mage unleashes a devastating assault, her dark magic threatening to consume all. Her intent is pure, destructive power. The air crackles with malevolent energy, a chilling premonition of chaos. The protagonist, a master of both blade and flame, steps into the fray, his resolve unwavering against the onslaught. He must hold the line. Sparks fly as his magical defense clashes with the incoming torrent. Despite his fierce defense, the protagonist is caught, a powerful blow sending him reeling. The odds are stacked against him. A moment of vulnerability. Blood splatters against the fiery backdrop. Far from the battle, Hubert, the venerable Crimson Tower Master, laments the dire state of their dwindling resources. Hope is fading. The opulent chamber belies a growing despair within its walls. Hubert reveals the crucial need for a fifth circle mage and a special ritual, a desperate measure to avert catastrophe. Time is running out. A heavy silence falls, pregnant with unspoken fears and monumental stakes. Back in the intense battle, the protagonist retaliates with a blinding burst of magic, his sword becoming an extension of his will. He won't yield. The clash of powers illuminates the battlefield in vibrant, destructive hues. With impossible precision, the protagonist slices through the enemy's potent attack, defying expectations. The tide begins to turn. Gasps of shock ripple through the onlookers as the impossible happens. The battle concludes swiftly, the protagonist standing victorious over the defeated mages. His power is undeniable. A new, shocked observer emerges, witnessing the aftermath of his decisive victory. Earlier, a group of mercenaries arrives at the magnificent Crimson Tower, unaware of the turmoil within. A grand facade hides deeper troubles. The tower looms majestically, a beacon of arcane power, yet unsettlingly quiet. They discover fallen guards outside, realizing the tower is under attack or besieged. A mysterious blue magic user appears. Danger is imminent. A sudden chill of dread descends as the grim reality unfolds. The blue magic user, revealed to be the protagonist, effortlessly dismantles the tower's magical gatekeepers. His entry is inevitable. With a casual sweep, he demonstrates a power far beyond ordinary mages. Inside, the protagonist confronts a skeptical researcher, asserting his unique ability to save the ailing Tower Master. He holds the key to their survival. Tensions are high as desperate hope clashes with rigid tradition. A bloody tableau greets us. The enraged master punishes Vanessa while a mysterious stranger steps onto the scene. The girl's desperation and the master's cruelty choke the air. The stranger reveals himself as Archduke Gislant Iridium, his special interest in Vanessa unmistakable. Memories of the sprouting nightmare Vanessa from his dark past stir within his mind. Ghislaine effortlessly deflects the master's fire attack and announces he has come to negotiate. As his eyes point to the runestones, astonishment spreads across the master's face. Then a shocking sight unfolds. Ghislaine's army emerges, bearing an incredible quantity of runestones. All of Lord Halogen's plans shatter under this overwhelming display of power. Ghislaine watches. The master's futile bargaining attempts with icy composure? The mountains of runestones making the situation crystal clear. Control of the market is silently changing hands. Lord Halogen realizes he has forgotten something critical about Scarlet, and panic swells in his eyes. As Ghislaine's trap closes, a bitter truth appears on the master's face. Ghislaine finally reveals his true aim. Scarlet had belonged to him from the very beginning. This ruthless revelation shatters the master's world. And the final blow. Ghislaine declares full control over all the master's towers and forces. The Crimson Flame Tower and the Heath Circle are now his to command. Sitting in the master's private study, Ghislaine underscores that everything is under his control. The true purpose of the negotiation emerges: Vanessa's future. Ghislaine rejects the master's feeble offers, displaying his resolve to claim Vanessa. He makes it clear that the trade was never about the runestones alone. The true value is Vanessa. Though completely overpowered, the master stubbornly refuses to surrender Vanessa. Her fear and his last vestige of defiance heighten the tension. Ghislaine's unwavering eyes lock on the master. His final, absolute command resounds. The entire game ends, sealed by a single sentence. Blood drips from Dan Wasong's knuckles as he cuts through the demonic ambush. His fists a blur of defiance. The metallic scent of betrayal clings to the mist around him. The legend of the Red Nightmare, a seventh circle mage, once filled whispers across the land. A terrifying force coveted by all. Yet even the most powerful can fall. Her brilliance now a fading memory. Undeterred by her shadowed state, a new master declares his intent to claim her, to mold her into his personal mage once more. His gaze holds a promise of restoration. A dangerous ambition. A world-shattering clash unfolds as powerful mages collide, their magic tearing through the fabric of reality itself. The echoes of their war hint at deeper, territorial conflicts brewing beneath the surface. The master arrives in Perdium, a wasteland reduced to rubble, acknowledging the long, arduous road to recovery ahead. His new territory is a broken promise, demanding a year of arduous toil. To his shock, his prize mage, Vanessa, appears, not as a respected companion, but as a beaten, luggage-hauling slave. Her tired eyes reveal a soul pushed to its absolute limits. Enraged by Vanessa's plight, the master unleashes his fury on Alfoy, a stark warning against further indignity. Her pain ignites a fierce protectiveness, a vow to never let her fall so low again. But treachery lurks as Ghislaine Perdium's forces launch a sudden ambush, trapping Alfoy's group in a brutal attack. The mages who eat mana reveal their true predatory nature. Ghislaine seizes the moment, arrogantly declaring Alfoy's territory his own, placing it under the ruthless control of his scholars. The power shift is absolute, a public humiliation for the master's faction. In a shocking power play, Ghislaine forces Vanessa to abandon her old master and serve him. Despite her lost magic, a silent, heartbreaking acquiescence hangs in the air. With a cold, calculating smile, Ghislaine extends his hand, offering to restore Vanessa's lost magic. A tempting yet perilous pact. The choice is hers. A path to power or a loyalty betrayed. Meanwhile, an elder master unveils a hidden mana vein, a secret weapon in the escalating war. Offering an alliance to defy Ghislaine, hope flickers in the face of overwhelming odds. Vanessa stands before her master, her brilliance overshadowed by a crippling truth. Despite her profound knowledge, magic remains an elusive mystery to her. The weight of her untapped potential and his discerning gaze clash in the silent hall. Through flashbacks, we see Vanessa's desperate, fruitless efforts to cast spells, her inherent mana rejecting formal invocation despite her immense theoretical mastery. She recalls countless nights spent memorizing ancient texts, only to face the same crushing failure. The master reveals her unique gift, not casting spells, but an innate, explosive talent for mana cultivation through raw instinct. He offers to teach her a path forged by raw power and will. A dangerous but potent alternative to traditional magic. As the master extends his hand, a lifeline of hope in her despair. Vanessa hesitates, fearing the unknown. Yet, his resolute gaze promises a future where her efforts will finally bear fruit, leading her towards an unconventional destiny. Their hands meet, and Vanessa is flooded with visions of the master's past life. A shocking mirror reflecting her own struggles and the agony of Mana rejection. A profound, empathetic connection forms between mentor and student, bound by shared pain. The master's past self erupts in raw hatred and rage, a chilling vision of the abyss he fell into while cultivating Mana instinctively. He vows to guide Vanessa away from that darkness, reaching out to prevent her from repeating his tragic fate. Vanessa writhes in agony, as the master's unconventional training floods her body with overwhelming mana, a scorching torrent threatening to consume her. Every fiber of her being vibrates with nascent power, pushing her limits to their breaking point. A blinding surge of blue energy erupts from Vanessa, her concentrated mana crystallizing into a vibrant core at her very center. The master watches intently, realizing her desperate struggles have finally culminated in an impossible triumph. Lying spent but radiating a gentle glow, Vanessa finally embraces her newfound power, a beacon of light in her once shadowed existence. Her quiet affirmation confirms her success, a testament to her master's unconventional guidance. Renato appears, expressing skepticism about Vanessa's impossible achievement, his disdain rooted in an old regret from her infancy. His judgment clashes with the master's belief, hinting at a deeper, unspoken history between them. The master reaffirms his unwavering belief, urging Vanessa to look to the boundless sky as he promises that no limitation is truly insurmountable. His steadfast conviction inspires her, solidifying his role as her mentor in this unconventional path. Meanwhile, Lord Victor, a formidable warrior, ruthlessly dispatches hordes of enemies, his immense strength evident in the scattered bodies. He revels in the carnage, hinting at a looming threat that will soon engulf the wider world. Bloodstained vows of vengeance rise. Lord Diebold, shattered by the death of his son Dilmore, declares war upon the realm. All the powers of the land prepare to answer this ruthless call. A colossal army appears on the horizon, surging forward in fury beneath Diebold's banner. This storm approaching the majestic castle is coming to sweep everything away. The siege begins. As the castle walls tremble under the enemy's ferocious assault, the defenders are caught in disbelief. A sudden onslaught leaves the fortress unprepared. Diebold himself appears at the front, demanding their surrender to avenge his son's death. His offer echoes like a promise of certain victory for the enemy. Yet our hero, despite every threat, refuses to yield, eyes blazing with determination to protect his people. The last bastion of honor and hope swears to stand unbroken. Known as the Silver Wolf, our hero deciphers the enemy's cunning tactics and devises a strategic counterattack. With every passing moment, his mind searches for the path to victory. Confident of triumph, Diebold relies on his army's overwhelming numbers and prepares for a long siege. He believes this war can only end one way, and waits. In the shadows of past battles, our hero recalls his deep devotion to his people and the heavy burden he bears. 15 days ago, the echoes of the last war still ring in his mind. Our hero unveils a bold surprise attack, aimed at striking the enemy's supply lines. This dangerous gamble could completely change the course of the war. Belinda is chosen to lead this critical covert mission and accepts it with unwavering resolve. The weight of destiny settles on her shoulders. Days later, Diebold's supply unit marches forward, unaware of the trap awaiting them. Night falls under an ominous silence. The surprise attack erupts. Belinda hurls herself upon the enemy with devastating force, shouting, "Kill them all!" As battle cries tear through the air, a flash of violet energy illuminates the scene. The brutal order echoes across the battlefield. No prisoners, only death. The enemy commander, chillingly calm, unleashes his forces with absolute malice. A sea of purple energy signifies the merciless slaughter that has just begun. Chaos erupts as the ambushers descend, a whirlwind of blades and blood. General Paprose is caught completely off guard. His defenses shattered. The air thickens with the metallic tang of fresh carnage and a chilling sense of surprise. Baron Paprose collapses, his forces decimated, realizing the scale of the trap. The overwhelming despair crushes him as hope dwindles under enemy blades. The bitter taste of defeat and irreversible loss fills his mouth. Cornered, Paprose desperately reveals Count Desmond's treachery, a desperate plea for mercy. The truth of the betrayal hangs heavy, sealing his fate. A chilling confession rips through the sounds of battle, exposing deep-seated deceit. Lord Ghislaine, grim-faced, delivers swift justice to the traitor Paprose. His blade descends, a harsh lesson for those who betray their own. Blood stains the ground, a testament to the unforgiving nature of loyalty in war. Ghislaine devises a desperate plan: draw the main enemy force to the castle walls while securing the gate. It's a calculated risk in the face of certain doom, a strategic pivot, born from necessity and the echoes of impending doom. With a heavy heart, Ghislaine entrusts Gillian with the critical task of holding the gate. It's a mission of immense pressure, demanding unwavering resolve. The weight of the kingdom's survival rests on Gillian's shoulders. The castle walls become a desperate fortress as defenders bravely fight back. Wave after wave of enemies scales the ramparts, threatening to overwhelm them. Every inch gained by the enemy costs a heavy price in blood and sacrifice. The enemy commander revels in the slaughter, ordering a relentless second wave, his confidence unshakable. Ghislaine watches, a grim realization dawning upon him. The chilling laughter of the foe heralds an even bloodier assault. A devastating blow. Ghislaine learns reinforcements are not coming, confirming widespread abandonment. His desperate gamble on support now yields only despair. The cruel reality of betrayal leaves them isolated and vulnerable. News of other counts under attack spreads, revealing a larger, coordinated assault. Lord Victor, however, finds the dire situation interesting, hinting at a sinister plot. A calculating mind sees opportunity where others see only destruction. Lord Victor unleashes his true, terrifying power, glowing with an ominous blue light. He declares a decisive end to the battle, commanding his forces to shatter the gate. The true architect of chaos reveals himself, promising total annihilation. Adon, the fearsome enemy leader, stands before the besieged gate, calmly issuing orders to breach the city's last defense. His ominous presence signals impending doom for the weary defenders. The enemy's massive siege tower relentlessly advances, a monstrous shadow casting despair over the city walls. Panic spreads as the realization dawns that time is running out, but a brilliant projectile streaks through the sky, obliterating the siege tower in a dazzling explosion of magic and force. A brief moment of hope flickers, a testament to unexpected resilience. Yet the enemy's numbers are overwhelming. Desperate defenders charge the gate, facing certain doom as their commander laments their inevitable fate. The battle rages, a bloody symphony of clashing steel and cries of despair. The Archduke, gravely wounded, collapses as the mages desperately gather around him, forming a sacred circle amidst the chaos. A pivotal moment where magic is their last, desperate hope. With his dying breath, the Archduke commands the mages to transfer all their mana to the young lord, trusting him to avert the catastrophe. His unwavering faith in the young lord is absolute. A gamble for their survival. A flashback reveals Vanessa's past moment of doubt, lovingly dispelled by the young lord, who showed her a path forward. His words instilled in her the strength to face this impossible task. Back in the present, mages strain as they channel their life force, the Archduke's body glowing faintly, his life ebbing away with each pulse of transferred mana. The desperate ritual pushes them to their limits, risking everything. Vanessa, after a moment of intense hesitation, unleashes an intricate magic circle, her resolve hardening as raw power surges from her. The sheer scale of the spell is breathtaking. A last-ditch effort, the mana torrent pours into the Chosen One, radiating immense power. As the Archduke whispers words of encouragement to Vanessa. Far off, the enemy commander reels from the sudden, powerful impact. Suddenly, Ghislaine, a legendary warrior, descends from the sky, a whirlwind of steel and vengeance tearing through enemy lines. His arrival confirms the ambush, turning the tide of battle. The battle shifts as a mighty warrior rallies the weary forces, declaring a fierce counterattack, his voice echoing with renewed hope and determination. The defenders, though battered, find new strength to fight back. The vast army of the no-name commander charges towards the colossal northern gate, a strategic masterpiece, now a fortress of shadow. Their target is clear, their resolve unyielding. This is more than a battle, it's a siege on destiny itself. Amidst the chaos, the commander unleashes a devastating wave, clearing a path for his allies through the enemy ranks. He shields Captain Mino, a living whirlwind of destructive power, ensuring their momentum never falters. The battlefield is a maelstrom of steel and screams, but the commander carves his own path, an unstoppable force against an endless tide. His allies watch, awestruck by his relentless fury, as time itself seems to run out. With a surge of power, the commander launches a colossal strike, tearing through the very fabric of the massive gate. The earth shudders under the immense force, signaling a breach in the enemy's impenetrable defenses. Inside the shattered gate, new guardians emerge, their numbers daunting. As a formidable figure steps forward, radiating a chilling aura, the allies question, is he the commander? As the true scale of the gate's defense reveals itself, the chilling presence is confirmed as Kyoru, the enemy commander, who challenges the protagonist with an unsettling proposal. A tense standoff as Kyoru demands 5 minutes, his intent shrouded in sinister confidence. Kyoru, the red-haired commander, grins maniacally, his eyes gleaming with a deadly promise as he declares his readiness. Let's play, a chilling invitation to a dance of death. The true battle about to begin. In a brutal flashback, the protagonist delivers a savage blow to Kaoru, who collapses. Tormented by the vivid memory of a woman, this intimate clash reveals Kaoru's profound rage and regenerative resilience. Fueled by a deeply personal pain, a glimpse into the past reveals the protagonist's prowess against another powerful, red-clad warrior, whose defiance turns to despair. The old warrior crumbles, shattered. A testament to the protagonist's unparalleled strength in countless battles. Another echo from the past, the protagonist, then just a nameless warrior, confronts the mighty Adon. Asserting his chosen identity, he declares, "I have no name," forging his legend through combat. A stark reminder of his mysterious origins. Back in the present, the protagonist faces a new, agile adversary. His movements a blur of calculated defense and swift retaliation. He absorbs a hit, his breath hitched, only to unleash a devastating counter. Showcasing his battle-hardened reflexes, the protagonist drives the vanguard relentlessly forward. His blade a torrent of destruction, refusing to lose a single inch of momentum. Every strike a testament to his unwavering will, pushing his forces closer to victory against insurmountable odds. Mercenary Commander Care challenges the imposing knight Victor, his blade a blur. But Victor stands unyielding, a stoic gaze meets fierce determination. The clash of ideals beginning. Victor effortlessly blocks Care's frenzied assault, dismissing the mercenary as merely pathetic. Superiority drips from his every movement, mocking Care's desperate struggle. With a flash, Victor counterattacks, striking Care down with surgical precision, leaving him wounded and shocked. The battle ends almost before it truly began. Care's pride shattered. Or lies defeated as Victor's identity, a hidden trump card, is revealed. His overwhelming strength undeniable. His name Victor now echoes with the weight of absolute power. Victor, calm amidst the chaos, confirms everything unfolds just as planned. A master strategist at play. The battle's true purpose begins to unravel. A pawn in a grander scheme. Unleashing a devastating strike, Victor sweeps away multiple enemies. Impatient to conclude the battle swiftly, his raw power clears the field. A whirlwind of destruction against lesser foes. A powerful magical assault slams into Victor. But his shield holds firm, deflecting the blow with iron will. He refuses to waste precious time, pushing through any obstacle thrown his way. Yet, a surprise attack lands, sending Victor to his knees. His helmet falling to reveal a strained face before he powers up. Vulnerability flashes, swiftly followed by a surge of grim resolve and potent energy. The gate is breached. Victor's forces launch a full assault as Care, despite his injuries, attempts to rejoin the fray. Victory for one side hinges on this moment, igniting a war of attrition. Or, eyes burning with rekindled defiance, stands against Victor once more, pledging victory or death. His mercenary pride transformed into unwavering resolve. A loyal warrior's spirit reawakened, driven by his conviction to aid his commander. Care unleashes a final, desperate burst of power against Victor, a self-sacrificial roar, pouring everything into one last, desperate effort. Bloody and battered, Care clutches Victor, determined to hold him. Knowing death is near for just one shot, his lifeblood spills, a sacrifice to buy precious seconds for another. He lies battered and broken, clinging to a sliver of hope. An impossible single hit to turn the tide. His resolve hardens, a quiet defiance burning in his eyes against overwhelming odds. Enraged by the enemy's taunts, he channels a raw, surging power, his body glowing with defiance. The promise of annihilation fuels his furious transformation, a beast unleashed from within. As the enemy unleashes a devastating final blow, he endures the impact, a shimmering blue energy enveloping him. The weight of the world crashes down, yet a strange resilience pulsates, absorbing the very force meant to destroy him. From the depths of his exhaustion, a desperate blue energy orb erupts, striking the astonished enemy. A lifetime of pain funnels into this single, unexpected counter, momentarily stunning his formidable foe. Bound and reflecting on past failures, he sees a new path, a magical surge promising to shift the battle's balance. Chains may hold his body, but his mind races, a strategist calculating the decisive turn for future victory. With a resounding explosion, Vanessa unleashes her potent blue magic, bathing the battlefield in an ethereal glow. The air crackles with unfathomable power, the ground beneath them trembling as the true plan unfolds. The blue energy erupts into a colossal flame strike, a fiery phoenix consuming everything in its path. The inferno of their combined might scorches the earth, leaving no doubt about the devastating power unleashed. The devastating flame strike obliterates the enemy ranks, their screams of terror echoing across the ruined landscape. His meticulous trap springs perfectly, turning the hunters into the hunted, leaving only ash and despair. Adon, the formidable enemy commander, witnesses the carnage and realizes he stumbled into a meticulously crafted trap. The mad dog has cornered its prey, and the architect of his demise reveals himself in the shadows of the inferno. Adon grapples with the bitter truth, questioning if he walked willingly into this inescapable snare. His grand plans crumble, his carefully laid victory snatched away by a perfectly aligned series of misfortunes. The white-haired protagonist confronts a broken Adon, delivering the final verdict on his ruined army and reputation. A chilling declaration seals Adon's fate, his empire of fear collapsing under the weight of utter despair. The protagonist laughs at Adon's futile resistance, his body now surging with an intense ultimate blue power. The battle concludes with his glorious transformation, signaling the absolute reign of his newfound overwhelming might. The battlefield erupts in fire and steel as the mercenary forces desperately hold the line against overwhelming demonic hordes. A chaotic symphony of clashing blades and desperate shouts echoes across the burning plains. Amidst the carnage, the young lord frets, his gaze scanning the battlefield for a crucial figure, Gillian. Anxiety gnaws at him, highlighting Gillian's mysterious importance in this unfolding disaster. Then, a monstrous form emerges, radiating raw power and menace. Gillian, revealed in his terrifying might, his very presence crushes hope, marking him as the inevitable, devastating opponent. The axe-wielding protagonist faces Gillian, absorbing the first devastating blow that sends shockwaves through him. Gillian's overwhelming strength immediately establishes him as a force of nature, a palpable threat. The battle rages, and the protagonist finds himself outmaneuvered, his speed seemingly no match for Gillian's relentless assault. Every parry is a struggle, every dodge a near miss, underscoring the lethal gap in their initial combat. In a flash of tactical genius, the protagonist reveals a hidden blade concealed within his formidable axe, poised to turn the tide. A secret weapon, a desperate gamble, transforming the instrument of blunt force into a precise, deadly threat. The hidden blade finds its mark, striking Gillian with unexpected precision, eliciting a cry of pain and disbelief. The tables turn as Gillian, once unassailable, now faces an unforeseen vulnerability. The protagonist calmly confronts Gillian, hinting at a deeper understanding of his opponent's nature and weaknesses. A quiet confidence replaces desperation, revealing a mind that has calculated every move. With a surge of raw energy, the protagonist unleashes his ultimate power, activating the core release, a transformation of sheer force, pushing beyond human limits, ready to finish the fight. The clash intensifies, an explosive exchange of blows as the protagonist's newfound power meets Gillian's might head-on. Every impact shatters the air, a final, desperate dance of destruction. Gillian collapses, defeated, his imposing form finally succumbing to the protagonist's strategic brilliance and unleashed strength. The overwhelming threat is neutralized, a testament to careful planning and a decisive strike. With the battle won, the protagonist reveals his true, noble identity, Ghislaine Perdium, the Archduke of Lekdom. The mask falls, unveiling a figure of power and authority whose strategic genius saved the day. Ghislaine Perdium makes his dramatic entrance, declaring his identity with fierce pride as the Archduke. His grand presence immediately commands the battlefield, silencing all doubts. Ghislaine provocatively labels himself as the North's trash, challenging his opponent to learn his true strength. A chilling confidence radiates from him, promising a brutal lesson for his foe. With unwavering resolve, Ghislaine activates his fierce aura, his eyes burning with a cold, righteous fury. The air crackles with his immense power, a prelude to the storm he's about to unleash. The battle erupts in a blinding flash of steel, as Ghislaine and his opponent clash in a whirlwind of deadly blows. Swords meet with explosive force, marking the true beginning of their desperate struggle. The opponent is staggered by a brutal strike, blood splattering as Ghislaine's relentless assault connects with full force. A painful grunt escapes him. As the cost of this desperate fight begins to mount, Ghislaine's offensive pushes his adversary back, each desperate parry barely holding against the overwhelming pressure. The tide of battle visibly shifts, as fatigue and damage begin to wear down his foe. The fight rages at its peak, a furious dance of steel and magic, as both warriors pour everything into their attacks. The ground trembles under their combined might. An ultimate test of endurance and skill. Struggling and bloodied, Ghislaine endures another devastating blow, a flashback reminding him of past crushing defeats. The bitter taste of past failures fuels a desperate resolve to never yield again, his eyes ablaze with an unyielding conviction. Forged in the fires of past humiliation, Ghislaine makes his ultimate vow. The weight of a painful history sharpens his resolve, hardening him for one final decisive strike. With a furious roar, Ghislaine unleashes his true power, delivering a piercing strike that devastates his foe. A blinding surge of energy erupts, sealing the fate of his opponent with a single, brutal blow. Collapsed and bleeding, Ghislaine is victorious but severely wounded. Questioning the fallen opponent about his purpose, the cost of victory is etched onto his battered body. A heavy price for survival, as his dying opponent finally asks his identity. Ghislaine declares his full name and tarnished title. His true name echoes across the bloody battlefield, a defiant testament to his enduring spirit. The dust settles on a hard-won victory, but exhausted soldiers lie scattered. A stark reminder of the battle's brutal cost. The air is thick with the metallic tang of blood, and the lingering scent of despair. Our protagonist surveys the wreckage, his gaze sharp with worry as he checks on his weary troops. He learns of Delinda's evacuation, a small comfort amidst the grim reality of casualties. Solemn exchange with his father figure underscores the heavy weight of leadership. Even in triumph, the old man's praise is a bittersweet balm. Acknowledging the unbearable burden Peridium carries, cheers erupt for their victory. Yet Peridium's face remains etched with a profound weariness. The triumph feels hollow, a fragile moment before the next storm inevitably breaks. He muses internally, affirming his reason for returning, but warns that the true fight is far from over. A deep-seated premonition of future conflicts hardens his resolve, refusing rest. Peridium insists on securing a formal surrender. Wary of their enemy's treacherous nature, the lingering threat of a resurgence looms, demanding immediate, decisive action. With key orders given and a pointed distrust towards Count Diggold revealed, Peridium prepares for the next move. The scent of treachery in the political winds guides his next steps. Full speed ahead. Peridium's forces charge towards Diggold's domain, where chaos already reigns. Inside the castle, the cries of the innocent echo against the brutal demands of reparations. Count Diggold, blinded by rage, orders even more ruthless extraction of funds. Bleeding his own people dry, his monstrous cruelty exposes the true rot within his leadership. A terrified subordinate delivers the bad news: Peridium has arrived, shattering Diggold's composure. The sudden, chilling realization of his imminent downfall washes over the tyrannical count. Peridium's forces breach the castle, their swift invasion leaving Diggold defiant but vulnerable. The metallic clatter of armor signals the end of Diggold's short-lived tyranny. Peridium finally confronts Diggold, swiftly dismissing any notion of negotiation and ordering his removal. Balan, drag that man out. His decisive command asserts absolute authority, sealing Diggold's fate. Ghislaine endures a horrific betrayal. Abandoned by his men and left for dead by Count Diggold, after a crushing defeat, the bitter taste of desertion and political treachery fuels a vengeful resolve in his heart. Back in the present, Ghislaine returns to his castle, his intent shrouded in a deceptive calm as his subordinate questions his strategy. He hints at a game far more intricate than mere negotiation, a silent promise of calculated retribution. Ghislaine makes a grand, shocking entrance before Count Diggold, who believed him dead, declaring his intent to reclaim what was stolen. The ghostly past collides with the formidable present, sending shivers through Diggold's opulent hall. Diggold's guards rush forward, but Ghislaine dispatches them with contemptuous ease, his power absolute and chillingly swift. Each fallen guard underscores the futility of resistance against this resurrected avenger. With Diggold at his mercy, Ghislaine offers a brutal ultimatum: total surrender or a swift, merciless end. The air crackles with the weight of Diggold's desperate choice. His pleas echoing in vain. Ghislai reveals the full extent of his demands, not just territory and wealth, but every person under Diggold's dominion. The Count's entire legacy is stripped away, leaving him utterly vulnerable and without recourse. Before the stunned populace, Ghislaine declares Diggold dead and himself the rightful lord, then offers Diggold a twisted choice to live. He plays the crowd, manipulating their fear and hope with a dark, theatrical pronouncement. Diggold is paraded before his former subjects, publicly humiliated and beaten as Ghislaine forces him to witness his complete ruin. Every blow solidifies Ghislaine's control. His revenge, a spectacle for all to see. Diggold, clinging to a final defiance, is met with Ghislaine's chilling, decisive roar: "Die!" In a bloody frenzy, Ghislaine executes Diggold and his remaining loyalists, erasing his past tormentors. Back in Peridium Castle, Ghislaine coldly informs his council of Diggold's demise, silencing their lingering doubts and fears. His calm resolve contrasts sharply with their apprehension. Solidifying his absolute authority, Ghislaine unveils his masterful, intricate plan, a web of deceit involving Desmond's troops and controlled information, all leading to Peridium's recapture. He reveals Diggold's hidden alliance, showcasing his own strategic brilliance and foresight. The chapter concludes with Ghislaine in the kingdom of Saikon, encountering the formidable Claude, setting the stage for new, unpredictable challenges. A knowing smile passes between them, promising a game of power far grander than any before. Baron Gisel Fenris, hailed for his immense merits, stands before the king, his new title echoing through the grand hall. A destiny forged in war now bestows upon him a seat of power. The young baron meticulously examines a map, his gaze sharp with ambition to establish his own barony from the war-torn lands. He's not just a victor, but a visionary ready to build. Returning to his manor, Gisel is met with joyous celebrations, his subordinates hinting at the strange rune magic he possesses. The whispers of his power precede him, even among his loyal retainers. Standing before his assembled followers, Gisel declares himself the Lord of Fenris, announcing plans to establish a formidable military force. His leadership is bold, promising a new era of strength and order. Gisel instructs Gillian to lead the main contingent to Fenris, but reveals his own detour, an unspoken purpose driving him elsewhere. A mysterious path diverges, leaving his close allies curious. He informs Belinda and Care of his destination, Austin territory in the Kingdom of Ceylon, casually mentioning it's for fun. The journey promises more than mere entertainment, a dangerous game perhaps. The mysterious woman expresses her fear of Gisel's immense mana and the rune magic he wields, highlighting its dangerous potential. His hidden power is a source of both awe and dread. At the gambling table, Gisel coolly wins a hand, enjoying the shock of his opponents, and subtly alludes to a bastard who caused problems. His target is clear and the game has just begun. The red-haired man Lark recognizes Gisel's rune magic at play. Remarking on how it aids his gambling prowess, the true extent of Gisel's abilities begins to unfold in public. Lark then reveals the name of the cheating bastard Claude and points Gisel towards his hideout within the casino. The hunted is identified, and Gisel prepares for the confrontation. Gisel confronts Claude, exposing his elaborate dice-swapping trick and firmly rejecting his pleas of being framed. The cheater is caught, his deceit laid bare. With a smirk, Gisel challenges Claude to a magical duel, delighting in the thrill of combat as their powers clash. The battle of wills escalates into a fierce display of magic. Baron Gisel Fendi, a foreign noble, finds himself in a deadly confrontation. His true identity revealed by a calculating woman, his fists blur in defense, a silent promise to reclaim what was lost. Belinda confronts Gisel, accusing him of entanglement in a scam. But Gisel's eyes are fixed on a different prize. He declares his purpose: to reclaim someone precious. The game hall reveals the deceit. Baron Austin celebrates a fraudulent victory. Belinda and Baron Henry left, ruined. The air crackles with the stench of stolen wealth and broken trust. Enraged by the blatant cheating, Gisel vows to make Baron Austin pay for his elaborate scheme and rigged dice. A cold fury ignites in his eyes, promising swift retribution. Baron Austin offers a twisted compromise. One last game? With Gisel's freedom and his people as the ultimate stakes? The terms are chilling. A desperate gamble for everything. With a resolute gaze, Gisel accepts the perilous wager, staking his very time of wealth against the cunning Baron Austin. His confidence is unsettling. A dangerous calm before the storm. The rules are set, a coin toss to decide who rolls first, followed by dice, where the lowest number wins. Gisel calmly chooses tails. The silence in the hall is suffocating, every eye on the coin. Gisel's choice proves correct. The coin lands on tails, granting him the crucial advantage of deciding the first roll. A small smirk plays on his lips as the power shifts. Baron Austin initiates his master cheat, revealing a hidden mechanism in the dice cup designed to force a 0 point. Rolled out, his smug grin broadcasts his confidence in his infallible trick. To Austin's horror, Gisel calmly declares 0 points. A chilling pronouncement as Austin's own rigged die shows the lowest possible score. The cheater's own trap has sprung back on him. Chaos erupts as Austin's men attack, but Gisel effortlessly deflects them, revealing his superior strength and skill. The tables have turned, the rigged game shattered by unforeseen power. Gisel scoffs at Austin's accusations of cheating, throwing another die to mock his opponent's failed scheme. The mind games are over. The real fight has just begun. Claude is cornered and battered, facing a relentless assault from multiple armored foes. His exhaustion is palpable as he struggles to protect an unseen figure, the blue aura of his attacks flickering with diminishing strength. Claude collapses, severely wounded as a mysterious figure steps in to shield him. Absorbing the final blows, the brutal cost of his choices weighs heavily on him, his actions inviting a dangerous confrontation. Amidst the chaos, Claude's eyes lock onto a familiar face, a surge of disbelief and hope igniting within him despite his fading consciousness. The revelation hints at a deep, forgotten connection that transcends the present danger. Overcome by his injuries, Claude succumbs to unconsciousness. His last moments filled with regret and a silent apology. The scene shifts abruptly, signaling a pivotal journey into the past, 1 year prior, to uncover the roots of his current predicament. A year ago, a desperate Anna pleads with Claude, tears streaming down her face, trapped by circumstances far beyond her control. Her raw vulnerability reveals the profound emotional stakes in Claude's deep-seated guilt from a past. Failure. Claude is consumed by a grim determination as he learns Anna has been taken for ransom by Baron Austin, a powerful and ruthless figure. The weight of her abduction fuels his resolve, pushing him towards a perilous confrontation. Claude arrives at Baron Austin's opulent castle, his appearance shocking the attendants as he declares his intent to pay Anna's ransom. He walks into the lion's den, his quiet defiance masking immense personal risk. Claude confronts Baron Austin, coldly presenting a chest overflowing with gold, demanding Anna's immediate release. His gaze is unflinching, but the Baron's calculating stare hints that money alone may not be enough. Baron Austin explodes in a fit of pure rage, recognizing Claude not as a noble savior but as a hated gambler, and viciously attacks him. The negotiation shatters into brutal violence, Claude's life now hanging by a thread. Claude endures a merciless beating from Austin's guards, collapsing in pain as Anna watches in heartbroken despair. His sacrifice is evident, but the overwhelming force of Austin's cruelty promises a tragic end. Baron Austin, utterly indifferent to Claude's broken body, casually orders a cup of tea, reveling in his absolute victory. Claude lies defeated, a stark image of shattered hope and ruthless power.